Okay, well, I've heard a bit of, overheard a bit about durians. Tell me about that. Is this your first time in Singapore, and how was durian?
First time in Singapore, and durian was interesting. We both tried it. He ate more than I did.
He didn't. When we say eat, he didn't. He put it in his mouth.
I chewed it for a little while,
and there was It was. It's amazing. I'm still trying to process it this morning.
Maybe
it's still with
it
me
again.
Yeah, it made me very heaty.
So this is your first time in Singapore?
Yes, sir.
How's it been so far?
It's beautiful here. I mean, beautiful architecture, beautiful people. And I love that it's warm here. Yeah, it's what an interesting city, and some of the buildings I've never seen anything like it. It's gorgeous.
The durian buildings are pretty good.
You know why it's there then? Well, it's because durian is a big thing in Singapore.
Yeah, I sort of looked at it this morning and felt a bit queasy.
Well, you know, right before we had the durian, we had spicy crab and all these really good, delicious dishes.
It was great to get out of the touristy bit and just to see a bit of Singapore.
Yeah. How has the vibe been on working on this season compared to the past few ones?
The vibe?
Yeah.
Pretty much the same.
And does it change from season to season?
Not really. The general tone is the same because it's largely the crew's the same, you know, and I would say 95% of the crew are the same crew that have been on it for the 4 years, and it still has the same excitement, the same friendship, the same sadness when you lose great actors. But we keep sort of struggling on, really. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
And personally, for both of you, what excites you about this season?
I'm still alive.
This season, I think, is one of our strongest by far. I mean, and the back eight is particularly strong. The writing is really, really good this season, and the acting is really good, and the direction's really good. And
I think the fans are going to be really happy with a lot of the other characters that maybe didn't get the same focus over the last sort of 3 years. They really get their chance to shine. Norman has a magnificent episode, as do 4 or 5 other of the family, you know, the prison family.
So there's more character development.
Oh yeah, but there's still just as much gore, blood, sweat, and fears.
Right. And going back to what you talked about earlier, you never know when you might be killed off. How does that feel?
Not very nice. How would you like it? It's not job security, is what we're talking about. No, it's tough, man. It's the one downer. It's the only downer in a truly beautiful and glorious job, is the fact that, you know, you make these great friends and then you lose these friendships, and you don't only lose, you regret the loss of your friendships, but you regret the fact that your character doesn't have that relationship anymore.
It's a lot like real life. I mean, I don't think anyone on this show is going to die in a hospital bed with all their family around holding hands. You know, time is precious, and you know, what you stand for is precious, and your words are precious. It's a lot like real life like that.
Yeah.
And have you had to do anything different to prepare for this season, for filming?
God, I mean, episode to episode is different. Storylines are, you know, every storyline's different. But I think 4 years being on a show, you really know your character, and you know what it takes to get your character to a certain point, and you have a relationship with these people for that long. I think that doesn't change episode to episode. That part, like Andy says, stays the same.
I became a pig farmer this season, and I had to get up close and personal with some little piglets.
Which was adorable.
They were adorable until I had to slaughter them. But this was actually a very strange beginning, because I'd been the leader, and I'd been the guy, the go-to guy, and I'd been the decision maker, and when I began this season, I'd renounced all of that. So it was a very strange and interesting start to play this guy on the back foot, and to play a guy that wasn't sort of, he was actively deciding to step away, and this caused friction with a lot of the characters, and that was an interesting change this season.
Yeah, so your character was kind of taking a back seat in this season, and how long will he remain so uninvolved?
Well, he's not in a good state physically because of the governor, and because of, I think he's at his lowest point that he's ever been, probably since he woke up from the coma. I also think that these characters are in the worst place they've been. They don't have any protection, and they're alone. Whoever survived the attack, they're really suffering. And what I identified after reading a few of the episodes is that these people are dying without each other in every sense of the word. And because of that, it's an incredibly interesting psychological study for a lot of these characters.
And Norman, where does your character start at where is your character at the start of this season?
At the beginning of 4, he's sort of a reluctant leader. I mean, he doesn't, I think, view himself as a leader. I think Daryl always does what needs to be done. He makes things happen. I mean, if we're hungry, he finds food. If there's a time that we need medicine for the baby, he's on a mission to get medicine. But he's always watching Rick through he's always looking out for him. And we'll involve Rick when Rick's ready. Rick's earned the right to take his time when he wants to step back in.
Right.
And when people are, when characters on the show are, we need Rick, we need him to get involved, we need him to get involved. I'm like, he's here. Just give him whatever he needs. Like, he's gotten us to this point. So I think he's, some of the characters are like, yay, Daryl, and I think he's kind of like, just hold your horses. Like, we're still in this situation. Just don't get too excited. Yeah. But he's always sort of got his back on Rick. He's sort of Robin to his Batman. You know what I mean? Okay. So he's fine being there. He's not the type of person that's going to sit down and wants to talk to you about your feelings. Right. You know what I mean?
That's what I love about these their relationship is they're alpha males. And they're not, I'm a cop and he's a hillbilly, you know what I mean? It's just that they're not used to talking about how they feel. Right. So when you get those moments of true friendship or someone just helping him get through the grief of Laurie or whatever, that's great, that's magic. I love those scenes between them. When they get to talk, they get to say something. There's always something being said in those scenes.
Right. I was just going to ask you guys, how is it like working with each other?
It's a breeze, man. It's the easiest thing. It's like breathing. And that comes from time together, living with these characters, and also just friendships. I believe that if you have a good relationship with someone off screen, it comes across. It comes through the lens.
And a mutual respect for what we do. I mean, to be able to be in a scene and go, Andy, should I try this? And he'll give me an honest answer, and I'll try it. Right. You know, it's nice to have. I mean, and we have that with our crew as well, and a lot of the other actors too. So but particularly Andy, like he's my BFF on set. You know what I mean? He's my go-to guy for ideas and support.
His ideas are great, man. His instincts are just the best.
Have you had to work on the camaraderie, or did it all just come naturally?
Well, you see, you kind of have to earn your stripes on this show, and I think people feel that as well. They come on set, and you have to really we move quick. It's like a big juggernaut, this thing, and it moves very quickly. You don't have much time, and these actors that have come on set you have to bring your game with you. And it's amazing welcoming all these new characters and seeing them come in. And it's hard joining a big show like this. But fortunately, we've got great casting directors who keep bringing in these amazing, interesting, and very cool people. Right.
Yeah. And whose job is it to keep everyone's energy up on set? Or who's the one who unofficially helps to keep everyone's energy?
Everybody brings it, you know. Everybody, and you look at each other. You have days, man. Sometimes you have a bad day, or you're quiet, and Norman will say, like, in the middle of a scene, we've got all these new people, and you start to get a bit wobbly, and Norman just says, "Hey, Andy, you got this. It's down. Go for it," And it just comes from everybody senses each other, and you feel it, man. It's good. It's good. And the crew bring it. The crew will go,
And I mean, Andy's really good at going, come on, he gets us in the zone. He's really good at it. That's sort of one of his many hats that he wears on the show. But
I'm just bossy. That's a polite way of saying I'm bossy.
But there's also like if one of the actors has a particular scene that they're doing that day, or part of a section of a scene that we're in, and it's a very emotional one, there's the mutual respect of don't joke around with that person or give him his space, you know, and you'll see somebody put in headphones and just sort of get quiet over here because they have something a little heavier than maybe the rest of us have in that scene or in a scene that day. So we give each other a lot of respect.
Right.
You know?
It's not a competitive show.
It really isn't.
And I think that that's one of the benchmarks of it, is the fact that, you know, we also shoot with a lot of, because it's film and because we move quickly, we shoot with a lot of cameras. So it helps, because it means that if we were doing this, we would cross shoot you as well. So you're in the scene.
Right.
So it actively encourages you to be in character, be committed, and do a performance every single take.
Right.
Yeah.